All right, that is the Prime Minister taking pot shots at the opposition. This was his response to the entire opposition. But for about an hour and about 40 minutes that he spoke, the responses were all restricted to the Congress party. It was a long and, may I say, an unwinding speech. He went on to even discuss used cars and the employments that they create. But let me take this across to R. Jagannathan, who's joining us. And Jaggi, I'm sorry, I'm keeping you up at well beyond your bedtime, perhaps at 10:50 p.m. this evening. What do you make of the Prime Minister's speech after Rahul Gandhi's combative, aggressive speech and the whole Jadoo ki Jappi and the hug and the wink and all of that? Many people thought that the Prime Minister, who's very competitive, doesn't want to play second fiddles, is going to come back with a blockbuster. Was this hour and 40 minutes a blockbuster, you think?
No, in fact, the first half of it was very underwhelming, because I think he went along the traditional kind of things that he discussed, which he has always said about all the Ujjwala Yojana, the reaching the light in every house and those kind of things. So I thought it was pretty boring, and I think he was just giving out statistics in the early part. Then in the middle, suddenly he took on the Congress personally. He hit out at Rahul Gandhi, he hit out at Sonia Gandhi and a whole lot of others. Suddenly it became very strongly personal and political. And in the third part of the speech, which was the last 15 minutes, he talked about some of the serious economic challenges, how he faced them and where he is going. You know, so the third part of the speech was very, very serious. I mean, he talked about bank NPAs, he talked about jobs in some detail, he talked about many other things that I think we thought he might not really get into. So I think there are three distinct parts of the speech. The first one began very, very in a tame way. The middle part was very, very political. The last part was very serious, because he thought he needs to address real concerns that everybody is expressing. So that's the thing. So I think anyway, he's been started his campaign speeches for 2019, and you could say this is the start. And unfortunately, I think the opposition made a mess of it, because, and he also addressed the Andhra issue to some extent, though he didn't make any specific promises. So I think since TDP was the prime mover of the no confidence motion, he had to address some of their concerns. But basically the attack was focused on the Congress, where I think it suits him to make the Congress his enemy, because as long as the Congress is the main enemy, he is stronger. When it comes to all the regional allies banding together, then he gets a problem.
But Jaggi,
so that's the message.
Right. Jaggi, before I go to Hitesh Jain and Sanjay Jha, who are going to be joining us right here, I have a quick question to ask of you. I think you brilliantly analyzed it. The speech was in three parts. The first part was largely rhetoric. The second was more personal, political, and the third part was serious economic challenges. My own thinking is that he diluted the last part by talking about used cars and all of that. He should have stuck to NPS, because that is what is really holding back the Indian economy, and I have a question for Hitesh Jain on that. But Jaggi, don't you believe he needed to engage with a larger audience? I mean, the entire opposition spoke against him, and all that he did was he made it extremely personal and visceral with the Congress only. This wasn't a Congress-led no confidence motion. This was a no confidence motion that was backed by all parties. Many parties spoke today, and all that the PM did was engage with the Congress. So it's very certain where battle line 2019 is. The Prime Minister engaging only with the Congress. To their advantage, they would want this to be a Rahul versus Modi contest. But the opposition and Rahul Gandhi himself today said, all of us are going to take you on. What does that tell you? Why is he only engaging with Rahul Gandhi and with the Congress? He had an entire opposition to reply to. He did not refer to any other member's speech other than Rahul Gandhi's. Lynching, by the way.
Basically, I think Modi knows that if Modi knows that he needs to drive a wedge between the Congress and the regional allies. So if you really want to fight 2019 on your terms, you need to make the opposition feel that the Congress is not a winner, it's a loser. And if you are going to have accommodation with the Congress in many parts of the country, then you are making a mistake. So that I think he also knows that suppose the Congress, the BJP falls short by 20, 30, 40 seats in 2019, then some of the regional allies, there is no point attacking them, because you will need the same Chandrababu Naidu or a YSR Congress or a BJD or the Shiv Sena, all of them. So I think he chose not to target them for the simple reason that he may need them after 2019. So it makes sense. That's part of the political thing. Drive a wedge between the Congress and the rest. Oh, cut ho gaya lagta hai.
Okay. All right. No. Jaggi, we can hear you. Just hang in there. I'm going to take this speech across to more specific points that were raised, and we'll take it across to Hitesh Jain and Sanjay Jha. And Hitesh, I think the Prime Minister spoke in great detail about the NPA. He went on to the extent of saying how it started in 2008 and, there was political patronage. He talked about phone banking, essentially mocking how political patronage was given to how loans were given out. I have a very simple question to ask of you. He may say all of that and maybe he's justified in saying that the rot started in UPA. What did you do in 4.5 years? What were you waiting for? Were you waiting for 2019 to resolve NPAs? Raghuram Rajan identified the problem. You didn't act on it. You asked him to go back and you instead did demonetization, distracted banks. Why did you not act on NPAs earlier? You can't blame the Indian economy all on NPAs today. Hitesh Jain.
Supriya, this was a no confidence motion that was called by the TDP and Congress. And if you would have looked at the tone and tenor of the speech of Congress today, which is what is happening in the no confidence motion, you have to reply to various charges that are been made. So what was the charges made by Congress? Hugs, wink and a lie, which was responded by the Prime Minister today in his speech in response to the debate on the no confidence motion.
Answer my specific question.
Now, on the NPA, he made a very important revelation. Because what is, Supriya, I am answering your specific question, but it is very important that this fact should be reiterated again and again and again. Of late on this whole Nirav Modi and Vijay Mallya, the lies that are being spread that BJP is responsible for NPA. Now, 18 lakhs crore were disbursed in 1947 to 2007, and from 2008 to 2014, 52 lakh crores were disbursed on the basis of telephonic instructions. Now, this is a most very important fact which citizens of India are entitled to know, because when people are spreading canards of lies, in the canards of lies, this important fact is buried. Is it not required to be investigated? Yes, we will look into all these issues. If you will see the answer, Supriya, allow me to respond. What is the bankruptcy code? Bankruptcy code is a response to that. Other day when Mr. Piyush Goyal spoke about the NPA, the whole ARC, about the bank and everything, that is to dealt. In last 2 years, if you will see, the finance ministry of this government has been specifically focusing on NPAs. All this bankruptcy code and other responses are the calibrated responses to the various things. You cannot have overnight changes. You cannot, the system where 34 lakhs crore extra were disbursed in 6 years, you have to first find out the facts and then also calibrate the response. Not just have a knee-jerk response like how you are mentioning it. Democracy doesn't work like that.
Okay. I wish the calibration and I wish the deliberation had come in earlier. I don't wish the deliberation would have come in the last year of this government. That's all that I'm trying to say. Because NPA is a problem whether this government comes
back. Well, they got the no confidence motion now.
So no,
Supriya, it is going to hold. If they have got the no confidence motion.
No confidence motion has nothing to do with NPA management, Hitesh. What are you talking about? No confidence motion? No confidence motion has nothing to do with NPA management. You can get any statistic in the book. NPA management has only started very recently and nor are jobs. Sanjay Jha, I will come to you and I will ask you the political question. Here you are and you're talking about this grand alliance and the entire opposition will be together. Mr. Modi tears into all of that, and he in some sense, exposes your glorious past, how you've let down allies from a Devagowda to a Chandrasekhar to a Charan Singh. He's doing that. So obviously, as a very smart politician, he's trying to create this wedge. Can there be a united opposition is really the big question. And a united opposition is not going to come just because Rahul Gandhi gets up and says, all of us are going to fight it. Who is your prime ministerial candidate? Here is this man. He's willing to speak for an hour and 40 minutes at 10:30 p.m. in the evening on his government's achievements and whatever else. Who's going to do that for the entire opposition? Sanjay Jha.
Supriya, I think I don't want to make too many comments on Mr. Modi's speech. I'm reading on social media. Majority of the people who have heard his speech have got it long, boring and full of rhetorical rubbish. I don't want to even waste my time. He did not even respond to the fundamental issues raised in the no confidence motion. This was a typical, one of those, hey, listen, my government has done this and that, and on very
Lie.
dubious
You
statistical
want him to respond to
data.
Hugs being
Now,
lie.
on your question on the opposition, Acha, listen, we have heard Modi for 1 hour, 1.5 hours and got bored to death. I don't want to listen to you and die another death. So calm down, the BJP spokesperson. I'll answer you, Supriya.
Okay,
The
Sanjay,
truth
just
is that
go
the
on,
no
go on,
confidence
please.
motion has been moved by a former BJP ally, the TDP, on the issue of the bifurcation that happened and a promise that was made by Narendra Modi and the BJP that a special status will be honored, which was promised by our government, that is Dr. Manmohan Singh's government. Another, like every other betrayal done by Narendra Modi since he became Prime Minister, which is what Rahul Gandhi ji correctly pointed out, the 15 lakh for everybody's account, the 2 crore jobs for the youth, the MSP for the farmers, another massive betrayal.
All right. No, 1 second. Sanjay Jha, please hold on. I don't want to get there. Please hold on, because I think we need to talk on substantive issues. 1 second. Hitesh, I'm coming back to you. Give me a minute.
Sure.
We've got visuals on our screen, and of course voting is underway, and we all know this voting will amount to nothing because they don't have the numbers. The whole idea was to expose the governments, to expose the chinks in the armor of the NDA. I think Mr. Modi tried to turn the table on the opposition on that count. And the other aim of this entire no confidence motion was to bring out issues of public importance. Jaggi, I'm going to come to you. A whole host of opposition party members spoke, from a Dinesh Trivedi to a Farooq Abdullah to Tariq Anwar to many more who spoke today from the opposition, brought up the whole communal divide. They spoke about lynching. They spoke about hate crimes. How come we did not hear the Prime Minister speak on that? Why was substantive time not given to the complete breakdown in law and order? Look at the number of incidents that are being reported. Is that not as important as used cars? And Sanjay Jha, you have a very uncomfortable question coming up right next, but let me get Jaggi into this first.
No problem.
Yes, I did think that he would have addressed the issue, if nothing else, at least to reassure the country that action will be taken and that we will get things done. But I think, unfortunately, he did not mention it at all. I think it would have been useful that from the Prime Minister's pedestal, if he had spoke reassuring words, it would have been good. And I think that was an unnecessary thing that he missed out. He should not have done that. And either it was, I don't think it could have been inadvertent. He probably didn't want to get into it. He made a very general remark on asking states to be more vigilant on certain things, but nothing specific on this. I think he should have done that. It would have made a whole lot of difference, and it is certainly a bad miss in this speech.
Hitesh Jain, I want you to come in and answer that question, because I want the tables to be turned on Sanjay Jha on this, but I first want you to answer the question. The point that I raised with Jaggi, the whole no confidence motion, of course, being moved by TDP on the special status grant to Andhra Pradesh, but the reality is that the House echoed with voices of communal divide. The House echoed with concerns on hate crimes. The House echoed with lynching. The Prime Minister in 1 hour and 40 minutes doesn't get a minute to talk about that? That to me is depressing. Forget about, anything else. I'm not surprised. I'm not astounded. To me, it's depressing. He's the Prime Minister of this country. He needs to stand there in the House. He's the leader of the House. He needed to take initiative and tell everybody, all of you who are doing that, we denounce that. Law and order is supreme and that will prevail. Why did he not do that?
It is depressing that for 4 years, canard of lies are spread and an image of India is lowered, and this is what the Prime Minister said. Supriya, what has happened since 2014, Mr. Modi has got the mandate. Congress cannot digest the mandate. Therefore, you keep on spreading. Law and order problem have been there in the past. It is, I'm not saying that there were not certain incidents that took place, but not to the line of what happened in 1984, the massacre, what has happened in Kashmir and all. You cannot use a selective outrage and then say that there is a law and order problem. And at the end of the day, the Congress president, when it comes to ease of doing, he said, no, I do not believe that India's situation is improved. But the Economist report, which clearly says it is on the basis of certain perception of few people. Now, you do not have the data. When you speak speak on such language, you lower the image of India. I mean, ultimately, he should have criticized the report of economists, saying that how dare we should have spoken in one voice in favor of India. How dare you lower the image of India? How dare you lower the image that women are not safe? I mean, like Afghanistan and Syria are placed ahead.
Okay.
So instead of doing that, you join hands for your hideous attempt just to build a narrative. Oh, this is because Congress is not there. India is not a safe place of women. Now, such lies has been responded, and the Prime Minister has responded.
Hold on for a minute. Hitesh,
now, it may not be in the manner in which you like, but I think people understand.
Just give me a minute. No, I'm sorry. You're not convincing
Supriya
enough.
Late
At
in the
least you're
night
not
to
convincing me. I don't know what the other two panelists, but give me a minute, because I think, just wait 1 second. Sanjay Jha, 1 second, Sanjay Jha. The voting is on in Parliament, and I think it's a voice vote that's happening. No, it's not a voice vote, it's a buzzer vote. So as soon as the numbers are out, and obviously we have a fair sense of what it will be, we will tell you in just a bit. But Hitesh, yeah, going back to the point, you don't convince me with that argument. But Sanjay Jha, I have a tougher question to ask of you. Rahul Gandhi gets up and he rakes up Rafale there. You know, as a Congress party president, he has perhaps every business to. He's raised it in the past as well. He does not have substantive proof. And in fact, statements issued by the French government deny the fact that this could have been shared publicly. This was sensitive information. It was supposed to be kept concealed. How are you going to respond to that? Was he being irresponsible, to say the least?
Well, let me tell you, Supriya, the Congress party has already debunked the nonsense being spread by Mr. Modi's government. Nirmala Sitharaman lied in Parliament today, and I'll tell you why. She says it's supposed to be confidential. Well, she's the defense minister of this country, and she's fabricating bluff in Parliament today. The truth is that there is their own Minister of State for Defense has publicly stated in Parliament the price of each and every Rafale jet. Was that then a violation of that contract? By the way, how can the CAG ever review the entire transaction if they don't know the price of the jet? And let me tell you what we have already put out in the public domain. If you read the contract carefully that we initially signed, it only says that intellectual property rights, technical specifications cannot be made public because that can be utilized by the competitors of the Rafale jet, which is absolutely understandable. The price, it has to be in the public domain. In fact, Qatar, which has bought the Rafale jet, has declared the price too. All other countries are declaring the price of the Rafale jet, but
Sanjay,
India is secret. Why?
No.
Why
Sanjay
did Nirmala Sitharaman in a press conference?
Sanjay, give me a minute.
Why did she say in a press conference that I will disclose the price and back out? Why?
No.
They are caught.
Sanjay Jha, let me come in. Sanjay Jha, let me come in.
Scam in Indian
Please
history.
let me come in.
It is running up to 56,000 crore scam.
A statement has been issued.
It is a big scam.
No, 1 second.
And Narendra Modi and Nirmala Sitharaman will have to answer.
I will have to get Hitesh Jain to respond to that. Hitesh Jain, I'm going to get you to respond to that. This is a serious charge.
Go ahead. Let him respond if he has a response. Pakda gaye, ye log pakda gaye isme.
Sure. Yes. Just wait for a minute, let him come in.
In the month of March, it is well documented in the newspaper.
Acha, theek hai. Wait.
Supriya, in the month of March 2018, it is documented in Indian Express that Rahul Gandhi met Macron and he did not discuss anything about Rafale. That news was there and that was not refuted by Congress party. Today, he said, I discussed. When his lie was caught, then he dragged Manmohan Singh and Anand Sharma. In his speech, he did not say that Manmohan Singh and Anand Sharma was there. He was caught pants down. Rahul Gandhi has lied and the French government has come and exposed this. So this is on this point, Rahul Gandhi has no face saver. It is proved that he has lied and there is a very clear evidence.
I don't think this man is prepared for this debate. तुम जाओ जरा कॉफी उफी पी के आओ तुम तैयार नहीं हो
one second I don't want Sanjay Jha, give me a minute. I don't want any unparliamentary language to be used here. Sanjay Jha, give me a minute. I want to take this back to Jaggi. And Jaggi, forget about Rafale and all of that. The Prime Minister made it personal. I mean, in his response, he got up and said, he's taking the fight all the way back to him. He says, "Aap नामदार हैं, हम तो कामवार हैं, हम पिछड़ी जाति के गरीब माँ के बच्चे हैं." Is 2019 going to be all about this? Is 2019 going to go back to the 2014 template? It's going to be me versus the rest. It's going to be I am an outsider. The entrenched are not letting me participate. Is that how you see 2019 go on? And I'm going to talk about the hug and wink next. So I think viewers need to stay tuned for that.
Absolutely. I think the BJP's best bet is to personalize the election into Modi. Are you for Modi or against? Which is what, anyway, the opposition also wants to pose it that way, though they want to make it more regional and not make it a personality clash. But for Modi, the best bet is to say, look, I am the issue. I am trying to do all these things, and these are the guys who are just, the only agenda is to bring me down. They have no national agenda, they have no development agenda. All they want is to get me out of the way so that they can continue with their corruption or whatever it is. That's the narrative that basically Mr. Modi wants to do. So that is why he has personalized every issue during this speech, and I think he thinks it works for him, because the minute you reduce the issues to local issues, state issues and all that, then the BJP gets into trouble. So it makes sense for him to become the issue in 2019, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. Meanwhile, I think the vote numbers are coming out.
Hitesh Jain, come in on that. Yeah, exactly. It's 126 to a 325.
Well,
obviously, this is a comprehensive, decisive, hands down. One second, Hitesh. It's a hands down victory for the present government. But I don't think anybody was thinking that there was a discomfort with numbers. As far as the number game is concerned, it's a very, very decisive victory for the present government. A total of 452 votes cast, 325 against the no confidence motion, and 126 in favor. The Prime Minister is still in the House. I'm wondering what's happening. People haven't still left the House. The numbers have just been out on the screens, but I think numbers to this debate was irrelevant, because it was never going to be a number game. Hitesh Jain, come in on the point that Jaggi is making, and he's making a very important point. The 2019 is once again going to be all about him. He is your best bet. He is your biggest trump card. There's no denying that. The moment you take attention away from him, attention will go to some serious governance lapses. Attention will go to promises made that were not kept. But when it's Mr. Modi, people are perhaps willing to look beyond that. How are you going to respond to this? Is 2019 going to be eventually all about this?
Supriya, 2019 is also going to be about the achievements of the 4 years as compared to 40 years. The 2019 is going to be about the reforms, decisive reforms, when it comes to GST, when it comes to housing, when it comes to gas cylinder, when it comes to power, when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to airport in tier 1, tier 2 towns, tier 3 towns, and also about a wholly inclusive, when we speak about the inclusive banking system. I think Prime Minister has spoken on all the achievements of the government and the impressive performance of the government in the last 4 years. So 2019 is all about this. We are not believing in theatrics. We do not have this hug and wink and all this business. We have politics is a serious business, and we are going to discuss serious stuff. We are not going to engage into theatrics.
Yeah. Okay. You know, politics is far too long a very serious game. I want to keep the visuals from Parliament on our screens right now. Of course, tables being tapped as it's a very comprehensive win. But you know, just as a little bit of a tongue in cheek, politics has far to become a very staid, serious business. What is wrong with a little bit of hug and a little bit of wink? There is all that some of us will say. The Prime Minister is very happy to hug some of the foreign leaders. I wonder whether the hug with Rahul Gandhi didn't go that well. Maybe they didn't get that camaraderie going. But Sanjay Jha, I have a bigger question to ask of you. Of course, House stands adjourned. Look at the numbers on the screen. 452 votes, 126 in favor of no confidence motion, 325 against. I know these numbers were irrelevant. The numbers were never a game. But, you know, what has the opposition gained by this? Look at how decisive today, because you know, tomorrow in the newspapers and even now, if we can put out those graphics, we'll show Mr. Modi's face and we'll say 325. We're going to show Mr. Rahul Gandhi and say 126, a total of 452. What have you achieved? Because you've dwarfed the opposition by doing this. Let's get this removed, please.
You know, Supriya, let me give you a very candid answer.
Can we come back with
Since
grabs?
This afternoon, my phone has buzzed. Can I speak? Since this afternoon,
sure, go ahead, Sanjay, go ahead. Yes, please go ahead.
Calls from people all over the country. People from all over the country who called me and said, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has stolen the thunder, not just by the hug that he gave to a very surprised and uncomfortable and extremely shocked and stunned Narendra Modi, but by the fact of his very powerful speech where he exposed the corruption in the Rafale deal and other deals of Narendra Modi and his government, crony capitalism, where he talked about farmer distress, the jobs, the jumlebazi. I mean, he's exposed the government and put it on the mat. And I think today all the other opposition leaders, starting with the TDP, have told the people of India, this is how this government has basically misled you, has betrayed the people of India. The 15 lakh ka betrayal of the people of this country, the 2 crore jobs, the betrayal of the
Sanjay,
youth,
listen to me.
The MSP,
Sanjay.
the betrayal of the farmers. Today everybody
Sanjay,
is talking about it.
Okay. Okay, sure. Sanjay Jha, let me begin this round with you. I have a question to ask of you. Rahul Gandhi wants to prove that, this government has had issues of corruption. He breaks up the Rafale deal. He talks about Dokalam. It was a very tongue-in-cheek speech actually, and I wasn't expecting him to say this because he's been a very boring parliamentarian so far. He goes out there and say, Prime Minister Jhula jhool rahe the aur Dokalam mein ho gaya. All of that said and done. And then, of course, he goes on to say how he has been taught Shiv Bhakti and Hinduism. Is this not espousing soft Hindutva? Are you going to deny that? Are you going to deny that the Congress is going to is reaching out to the majority? Supriya, your minority appeasement has backfired and you need to reach out to the majority?
Supriya, can I tell you what the Congress party is doing and
Sanjay?
will do? I'm telling you straight what we're going to do. We are going to go to the people of India and expose the fact that the BJP is actually exploiting the majority community of this country, the Hindus. I'm a Hindu. Rahul Gandhi ji is a Hindu. But Hinduism does not teach us to hate, to kill, to destroy, to threaten, to intimidate. Can you imagine a 100-minute speech given by Narendra Modi and he does not say one word on lynching? Where Jayant Sinha goes and garlands and convicted lyncher? What are we talking about? I think this is the moment of monumental shame that India's Prime Minister is literally endorsing the lynchings that have happened. He doesn't believe it is a big story when the world media, the world, shall we say, every civilized citizen is talking about the completely ghastly incidents that are happening in this country.
Okay.
Modi in Parliament doesn't say a word. What are we talking about? It's a telling commentary. And Mr. Gandhi, I'll tell you what he did. By going and hugging Narendra Modi, he said, "Mera Hindu dhan batata hai ki aap pyar kare, aap logo ko jhappi दें, लोगों को डराई नहीं, उनके खून न करें, उनको धमकी न दें." I think Modi is today on the map. And this is the beginning of the 2019 story and the beginning of the end of the BJP.
No, Sanjay. Okay, Sanjay, I think it was a Rahul Gandhi moment till he went and hugged Mr. Modi, and Mr. Modi was very astounded. He did not know how to react. In fact, I think in very poor body language, he kept sitting and called Rahul Gandhi like that and then shook hands. That was poor body language. What did Rahul Gandhi do next? He went and sat. No, please listen to me. What did Rahul Gandhi do next? He went and sat and then winked on that hug. Is that what is that I thought was a moment that he lost. He won a moment 10 seconds before and then he lost it. But
Supriya, let me answer you.
Please go ahead and answer this. Do you have an explanation for this?
Let me answer you. Very pertinent question.
Because that demeans his action.
I'm telling you, I'm giving you the answer. I'll tell you what the wink is. In 10
seconds,
now, you
please.
agree with me,
In 10
Supriya. Now,
seconds,
you
please.
and I do so many of these TV shows. In 10 seconds. You agree with me that you were also stunned when he went and hugged Narendra Modi. Now, let me tell you what his wink was that I took Narendra Modi and the world by surprise. I think, it's a wink that basically says, I stunned and surprised everybody.
Sanjay, 1 second.
I think that's
you were dealing with the Prime Minister of a country.
Of a
Look, Sanjay.
breakthrough
No,
in
Sanjay,
India's
listen to me.
Boring
Sanjay,
democracy.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where I disagree with you. I agree with you till the point of hug. Where I disagree with you is on the point of wink. He is dealing with the Prime Minister of this country. He's not just hugging any other parliamentarian. Hitesh Jain wants to come in, but Hitesh, I have to ask you very, very quick questions because I want to go back to Jaggi. And the question really is that this no confidence motion for many reasons had become this prestige issue. And some of the points that were raised on issues of governance and on issues of institution, I think Mr. Dinesh Trivedi particularly raised this, that when he said that why is it for 6 months chief statistician has not been appointed? Why is it that the CBI chief and his deputy are sparring publicly? Why is it that revenue secretary is also the finance secretary fighting with ED? If, the government of the day needs to step into these governance lapses, And which is where we believe at ET Now for sure that there needs to be greater control on governance, and that is missing. How are you going to respond to that particular point? I think I picked it up from Dinesh Trivedi's speech, if I'm not wrong. Of course, this was never replied to. This was never responded to.
I will respond to that, but I also need to. I will respond to that, but I also need to remind you about. I also need to respond to what Sanjay Jha said. Now, whether it is 99 or 2018, they do not learn. In 99 also someone made a statement, oh, we have 272 numbers. And now in 2018 also it was said, oh, we have the numbers and we have the numbers to defeat the government on the floor. No confidence motion is a serious business. No confidence motion is not some jumla baji. So, you know, this hug and wink and all what we wanted to, what it demonstrated today, that forget numbers and other thing. Our thing was to get do some theatrics. We got the platform, we got this, and see in the evening you got a egg on the face. Sanjay Jha, you should be ashamed. The motion has been defeated from 326 to 126. If I would have been in your place, I would have put my head down and have demanded the resignations of Rahul Gandhi for misleading Congress party. I would not have been a piddi like you, and I would have demanded the resignation from Rahul Gandhi for taking the Congress party to such historic low. Now, as far as your question is concerned,
relax, take a deep breath, chill out,
question is
Sanjay,
get agitated,
Sanjay,
calm down. Calm down, relax.
Sanjay Jha, please wait. Sanjay Jha, please.
So learn from the theatrics, but it's okay.
I wonder if at the end of this debate, and if you actually both of you are joining in from but you know, yeah. Go ahead, Hitesh, go ahead. Sanjay Jha, please keep going.
Speech, and there are from various
Sanjay Jha, please wait.
Various speakers from BJP have spoken today. Not one, but at least there were 4 to 5 speakers who have spoken on different aspects of the governance. I think we cannot ignore about the fact about the performance report card that we have placed before, whether it is about the farmers, whether it is about MSP, whether it is, as I mentioned about to you, about housing, whether it is speaking about infrastructure. I think all these issues are there. Dinesh Trivedi is fine, but at the end of the day, maximum lynching is happening in West Bengal. For uttering Jai Shri Ram, people are murdered. We saw the incidents of how the rapes and other things, every second day there is a law and order. And not only that, the Supreme Court said about West Bengal, about how 60% people are elected unopposed. Now, does it not reflect on West Bengal and what it is happening? And suppose
want to have an abstention. No, one second. Hitesh.
And then you cite that
one second, Hitesh.
Problem.
I am not going to entertain this debate on West Bengal because there is nobody else to defend it here. No.
He confesses that he knows the situation of West Bengal, and he thinks that the West Bengal is the whole India. He is talking about the report card of West Bengal.
You know what, Hitesh Jain, there are many in your party. One second.
Supriya, I can answer on behalf of West Bengal politics.
One second, Sanjay Jha. No, Sanjay Jha. No, I don't want you to answer on behalf of West Bengal. No, you do not have to answer on behalf of West Bengal. You represent the Congress party, not the TMC here. And Hitesh, let's not take this debate to a low where we talk about what people confess in private. Because if I start telling you what some of your MPs... One second. Sanjay Jha, please keep quiet. I'm talking right now. If I start, telling on national television what some of your MPs and ministers have to say when cameras are off and when they confess to some of us, I mean, that's not where we want to take this discussion. But Jaggi, I want to ask you a question, and Sanjay Jha, I'm going to come to you next because, you keep attacking big business. I wonder what is Congress party's counter narrative on creating economy and, boosting economy, creating jobs and all of that. I'll come to you in just a minute on that. But Jaggi, I do want to ask you this question. At the end of this debate, at the end of this day-long debate that saw some fireworks, that saw hugs and winks and the Prime Minister's own theatrics and sarcasm at its best, who is the aggressor and who is the victim at the end of the day today?
See, I think if you leave aside the disruptive hug which Rahul Gandhi managed to get across, I would say that the government actually surprised the opposition by agreeing to the no confidence motion and bringing it almost the very next day. So what really happened was that the opposition was unprepared for a huge defeat. And of course, they made their speeches, of course, they made their points, which they could have done on any day, even on a television studio. But that is not the point. But the reality is that they realized that they're going to lose badly, and which is why they had to do all these theatrics, which of course is useful because it will all make the front pages tomorrow, because that's a good visual to have. But basically, I think the government managed to outsmart the opposition by surprising them with a very quick no confidence motion, and the government was ready and the opposition was not. So they knew who was going to vote with them, who will not vote, who will walk out, everything was ready. So the opposition actually cut a sorry figure, and but for that disruptive hug, I would have said that the opposition would have had even worse to show for the day's work. So I would say the government stole the show from the opposition today.
Sure,
even though they had opposition has a lot to say.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. The opposition has. I have two quick last questions. I've just got last 2 minutes on the show. Sanjay Jha and Hitesh Jain, please make it brief. Sanjay Jha, I have a question to ask of you. Your party president got up and he spoke against big business one more time. And he said that the Prime Minister is close to 10 or 15 business houses. He doesn't care about the small businesses. Has the Congress party given up on big business? Have you written off big business? You don't want to have a relationship with the large corporate houses of this country?
Before I answer your question, I think Mr. Jagannathan has conceded, because you can't say if you remove the disruptive hug. With the disruptive hug, he is agreeing that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is the victor and Narendra Modi is the loser. Now, let me answer your question. As far as the big business issue is concerned, it's a Congress party, by the way, Supriya, and you know it as well as I do, which liberalized the Indian economy. If India has grown over the last several years in terms of GDP, the large businesses have a huge role to play. And the Congress party, by the way, is pro-business. What it is against is pro-crony capitalism of the kind Narendra Modi is doing. Therefore, Mr. Gandhi mentioned Geo, which everybody knows is a joke, the way the Geo Institute of Eminence was given money and status. Everybody knows about Gautam Adani and the deals. And I think about the big industrialists who's gained the Rafale deal. I think, let me tell you this straight, and I'm saying this with full responsibility. The Congress party comes back in 2019, we will support all businesses. Small and medium for jobs, big businesses, but we will not do it in the manner in which Narendra Modi is doing. Narendra Modi is not helping all large groups. We will help them all, but he will favor those who are politically funding him and have certain other deeper interests. There's a big difference between Congress and the BJP
Sanjay Jha,
where that is concerned.
I'll have
We
to
are
cut you short there.
pro-business, we are not pro-crony capitalism.
Sanjay, I'll have to cut you short there. Okay. Sanjay Jha, I'll have to cut you short there, because I am not so sure if big business is willing to rally behind you, whether you come back to power or you don't, because you've really taken on big business, and big business is very vindictive in this country. But let me take this across to Hitesh Jain. And Hitesh Jain, a quick last word to you. You know, this no confidence motion was in the making since the budget session. The AIADMK, that was seemingly not an NDA ally, was used as the shield to run into the well. And I don't want to discuss that because I know this better than all of you. They ran into the well, they averted the no confidence motion. Today they go and vote with the government. So they will perhaps sooner or later be a formal part of the NDA. The reality is that the government tried to stall it and used every trick in the book to do so, wasted a budget session. The opposition tried to bring it, stayed adamant, and we have the results to see today. They've not won the vote. You know, the Prime Minister's kind of attacked them. My question to you, and I'm asking you a question on behalf of a lot of our viewers, on behalf of a lot of economic stakeholders in this country, can we expect Indian Parliament, which includes both the government and the opposition, to focus and go back to legislative decision making, to go back to the important laws that are pending in the House? Can we expect the government and the opposition to get together and do that? And the outreach will have to be made by the Treasury benches. Hitesh Jain.
Supriya, not only you will expect, but you will see it in reality that is happening, because these are the issues which the opposition wanted to discuss. The Congress president wanted his 15 minutes. He wanted to see whether earthquake and everything. So neither the earthquake has come. He got his 15 minutes business. The opposition got an opportunity to speak. I think we are moving towards the serious business, and I can assure you that we will go every extent to ensure that the House will be working, and we will be ensuring that on the key important issues, the bills which are pending, we are committed to bring them to the fore, to discuss them and pass them. We are committed to the development, and we will, and I completely assure you, and this is something there should not be any doubt in your mind.
Okay, on that note, I have completely run out of time here, but I think it's a Friday evening. Politics has become too serious a game. People don't take in jokes, people have issues with hugs and winks. But I think the next time Hitesh Jain and Sanjay Jha would join in from Bombay, I urge my producers and my guest coordinators to put them in the same location so that we can at least have the two of them hug and end this evening. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for being with us. R. Jagannathan, Sanjay Jha and Hitesh Jain. Thanks very much for sparing time this Friday evening. Okay, नहीं आप प्यार दिखाइएगा, उनके दिल में गुस्सा है, आप प्यार दिखाइएगा. We'll have one of you hug each other, and I'm committing on national television on both your behalf. But thanks very much. But okay, thank you very much for being with us in this edition of the India Development Debate. This has been a fascinating discussion. What a day it has been. The first no confidence motion in the last 15 years, ironically against a government with brute majority. You did see the numbers, the final tally, and that told you a tale. 126 votes in favor of the no confidence and 325, a brute majority against it. But numbers were never a worry. Very important issues were raised in the Indian Parliament. The first proceeding was dominated by Rahul Gandhi, who tore into the government with a very combative, aggressive speech, a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor, and of course the hug and eventually the wink that ended it all. And then of course the Prime Minister came tearing into the opposition. He took on the Congress at both personal and professional level. He tore into Rahul Gandhi, he tore into the Gandhi family, and spoke a lot about the Indian economy. He explains why NP has been a huge mess and why the government has still not been able to clear it. I think 2019 is going to demand larger action and larger answers of both these gentlemen. Let the dance of democracy begin. I think it already has kicked off in the lower house of parliament today. Thanks very much for being with us.